You'll get what you want. You'll get this recession. It's definitely coming.
Let's talk
it's already
about,
actually already here, the 2 quarters negative already, but you will see. Look what's happening. Look at Nike. Look at AMD. Look at Target. Look at FedEx. I mean, this isn't your normal market. This isn't like things are running away.
I guess you know it's getting really bad when the Ritz-Carlton Hotel starts laying off employees. Naples Daily News announced the prestigious Ritz-Carlton Naples Hotel has laid off nearly 600 employees after getting hammered by Hurricane Ian. Now, although these layoffs are a direct result of a natural disaster being a Category 4 hurricane, and there's also not so great news hitting many others now facing unemployment after Intel has reportedly started targeting layoffs, more cost cutting happening at Amazon with its Fabric.com getting completely shut down, and Amazon announces its plan to engage in job cutting as economic crisis worsens, more plans for canceled warehouse and hiring freezes, and CEO Andy Jassy is sending a clear warning about the economy that we should all be paying attention to. Oh, and by the way, I have an important video update to bring you guys for those who are in need of money and need money quickly. I'm talking about getting $10,000 free of charge, no cost to you, in little as 24 hours. So if you want to know about that, drop a comment down below and I'll make sure to put that video at the top of the list if I have enough interest in it from you guys. And Kraft Heinz CEO Miguel Patricio says higher inflation and supply issues are coursing through the food industry, forcing companies to adopt new strategies for everything from production to promotion to packaging. And he doesn't see an end to either issue anytime soon. So Kraft Heinz raised its prices overall by 12.4 percentage points compared to the year before. And beyond the double-barreled challenges of shortages of raw materials and inflation, issues like the continuing pandemic, the war in Ukraine, and climate change are adding to the uncertainty. So to keep costs low for the end consumer, that's you and I at the grocery stores, Kraft Heinz, as well as many other companies, had to be much more efficient in their factories and be careful about procurement costs. Heads up, employees and workers, they are talking about you. Meanwhile, HuffPost headlines announce a stern warning. The Federal Reserve is coming for your next raise. So as the Federal Reserve fights rising prices, its efforts will be felt not just by borrowers and bond traders, but also pretty much anyone who works for a living. Yep.
The faster the Fed goes and the more damage they do, probably the faster we wind up having to lower rates when they realize the mistakes they've made. Unfortunately, they're going to cost millions of people their jobs globally, and there's really hurting global trade. And obviously, you see the situation in the UK. People are beginning to talk about Japan, their defense of the yen, and can they do that? I mean, they're putting unprecedented stress on the world. And you know, Powell was unbelievably late doing this. He sat still while the meme stock craze was going on. And I heard about 80% of the ICOs in the crypto world have gone bankrupt, and the Fed was quiet. You know, it's rolling over. So the housing market, construction workers, construction projects, the auto workers, there won't be less demand for cars. You know, I think the Fed is looking in a rearview mirror. You're looking at a lot of information that's old. I think the question is, how fast will rates have to fall to fix the damage? And if he does too much too soon, he could make this really bad. I also think people are nervous, or should be nervous, about their job. It's really a dangerous game he's playing, and he's killing the economy, and we'll take people out of jobs and we'll put them on unemployment benefits, and then we'll have to give them unemployment benefits when we were taxing their incomes before.
So as the central bank has been raising interest rates, making money more expensive to borrow in an attempt to slow down the whole economy, so people don't have enough money and it compels them to not spend so much, with the hopes of businesses then offering lower prices, a theoretical solution that Fed Chair Jerome Powell calls softening of labor market conditions, which Powell and his colleagues predict will involve higher unemployment in the coming year. So although Powell has acknowledged that there will be some pain in the Fed's campaign against inflation, maybe to the point of a recession, there's still the undeniable fact that can't be ignored. And that is that even for those workers who manage to stay employed, they too will feel the impact of increased interest rates through some form of pain, one way or another. J.W. Mason, an associate professor of economics at the City University of New York's John Jay College of Criminal Justice, said, "The only way in which higher interest rates reduce inflation is by raising unemployment. and thereby inducing workers to accept lower wages. Despite wage growth accelerating this year, the overall gains haven't kept pace with the rapidly rising prices for consumer goods. And so the Fed can't do anything about the supply chain issues, but Powell is hell-bent on continuing to push down on demand until inflation subsides. And so far, the Fed's historically rapid rate increases this year haven't done the trick, with overall inflation still flying high at 8.2% as of September, while unemployment remains at a historically low level of 3.5%. So the Fed's policymakers have said they expect unemployment to rise to 4.4% next year, and this is as a result of their actions, further implying that millions of additional workers could face unemployment as a result. And so, increasing the size of the jobless population would likely mean that more people would be willing to work for less pay, plain and simple. So the Federal Reserve Chair, Powell, insists that workers are too strong right now. Now, this is something you guys really want to pay attention to, describing the current power dynamic as out of whack with what the Fed would consider a better balance between bosses and employees. Yeesh. Powell is focused on driving wages back down to a level that is much more consistent with the target 2% inflation. This is what I would describe as just barely getting by or barely keeping your head above water. So Powell said at a press conference in June that you have 2 job vacancies essentially for every person actively seeking a job. And that has led to a real imbalance in wage negotiation, basically saying it's an employee's market. And basically, the employees should never have leverage or the perceived notion of the upper hand against the employer. So Powell has outlined a soft landing scenario in which businesses cut the record supply of job openings without losing too many actual jobs. And so the ultimate magnitude of job losses will depend partly on how quickly wage and price inflation pressures come down. But with corporations jacking up prices while raking in record profits, it is almost an impossible idea to fathom. As inversely, companies paying increased wages could simply accept lower profits instead and ultimately achieve the same goal and outcome. So there have been some Democrats in Congress that have talked about imposing price controls or taxing windfall corporate profits like oil, petroleum, gasoline, diesel, and other fuel refineries. But seriously, guys, what do you think? Comment down below. Can President Biden, the Federal Reserve, Jerome Powell, Congress, lawmakers, the Treasury, can they honestly have a meaningful and effective impact on inflation alone? I mean, this is technically a global issue. Take a look at this visual. Inflation is worldwide, and the U.S. is a product of the sum of all parts, basically meaning these inflated prices and input costs from all over the world partially dictate the price we see here as consumers and end users. Granted, the housing market is a slightly more complex and different animal, but for all other sectors, the effects on interest rates by the Fed to hurt and cripple U.S. families and businesses won't really have much of an effect on the entire world's economy, or will it? Drop a comment down below. Let me know what you guys think. Now, coming up next, Amazon to buy primary healthcare provider One Medical. A list of stores that you once loved, but ultimately bit the bullet and have gone by the wayside for good. Will the company you work for now be the next to hit the list of extinct corporations that suffered the ultimate economic and financial defeat, putting thousands of people out of work and unemployed? And if you thought your job was safe, think again. Jasper's robots can assemble meals now, and this is only a small glimpse into the future of robotics, technology, and AI. And this is directly aimed at replacing human workers and allowing businesses to gain great profitability with less of the troubles and headaches of human beings on their payroll. Pay attention, folks. So you're not going to want to miss this and so much more. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Oh, and by the way, I have an important video update to bring you guys for those who are in need of money and need money quickly. I'm talking about getting $10,000 free of charge, no cost to you, in little as 24 hours. So if you want to know about that, drop a comment down below, and I'll make sure to put that video at the top of the list if I have enough interest in it from you guys, the ones that actually matter, the viewers, the subscribers. Make sure you check out these videos here. Subscribe to the channel, give this video a like, share, comment down below. I love to hear from you guys, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye.